Hi, I'm Eric Reifenberg. I spent 8 years as a key account manager, managing accounts worth tens of millions of dollars. And then I managed key account managers as a sales leader. Today, I'm helping key account managers prepare for and execute their most difficult negotiations. And the topic I want to talk about today is confidence. So important in negotiations. And this is something I really had a hard time with when I was early in my sales career. And the reason why is because I was working with customers that were huge, much bigger than our company, some Fortune 100 companies worth, up to $1 billion. And they were very good about throwing their weight around and taking control of all of our sales encounters and negotiations. So, I had to come up with some ways to deal with that. So some ways that you can deal with this and you can become more confident in your negotiations are the following. And it's all about preparation. So the first thing I want you to do is get clear on what your value proposition is to your counterparty or your customer. And by value proposition, what I'm saying is, what is unique, something that only you can do? Can you quantify that? And most importantly, is it relevant to them? Do they care? Get really clear on that, because if you're providing significant value to your customer and they cherish that, they recognize that, this is something that you can trade off of. You shouldn't be giving things away if you're providing real legitimate value to them. And this goes along with also understanding what their business problems are and solving it. Okay, that goes without saying. Also, make a negotiation game plan. I'm going to create another video where I go into more detail about this, but essentially your negotiation game plan isn't just writing down a bunch of bullet points on a legal pad before you go into a negotiation or typing some notes into your phone. What I'm talking about is a mental model. This is something that helps you understand how to break a negotiation down, how to make good trades, how to determine where you're going to anchor and start, and where your walkaway positions are going to be so you don't give away things unnecessarily. So on your negotiation game plan, you need to write down what are your negotiables. So what's important to you, what's important to them. And remember, they're not always telling you what's important to them. And they're certainly not going to tell you why, because they don't want to lose leverage. So spend a lot of time up front during your discovery phase, discovering what's important to your counterparty and find out in what order it's important. Like, identify the top 3 or 4 most important things to your counterparty, what they really want. And the reason we do that is so that we can control the sequence in which we negotiate, because we don't want to give away their most important negotiables early, because we'll lose leverage and they'll lose motivation in negotiating with you. We also want to identify those negotiables where it's more important to one party than the other, because this is where we trade. These are our leverage points. So we want to be very specific about identifying those in our game plan. Also in our game plan, we're going to have our opening positions. So these are our anchors. This is where we're psychologically anchoring the negotiation. And we want to put in our walkaways, where we're going to be walking away from the negotiation. So when you put that much thought into preparing for your negotiation through this game plan, you're going to be really confident. Other thing I want you to do is attempt to control the agenda, or you want to be framing up how you're going to be talking about negotiables and in what sequence. Remember I said before, we want to talk about the negotiables that are most important to us, and the negotiables that are most important to them, we want to leave till later because we don't want to give up our leverage. So we should be controlling the agenda ahead of our meetings, making sure our negotiables, our most important things are at the top of the agenda, or the only thing on the agenda. I also want you to try to control the setting. So what is it like when you have a customer come to you rather than you go to them? So can you get them to come to your facility? And the assumption here is that you're going to negotiate face-to-face. You're going to do business face-to-face. If you can't do it, sure, you can do it over video. That's fine. It's not as good as face-to-face, but I absolutely do not want you negotiating with email. If your customer's attempting to negotiate with email, they're probably trying to get you to negotiate against yourself. See if you can get them into a face-to-face meeting, especially as you get into later rounds of negotiation. Okay, so what does it feel like when your customer comes to you? I mean, they're much better behaved, right? When they're at your facility than when they're at theirs. So see if you can gain control of the meeting by bringing them to you. Also, don't negotiate alone. I made this mistake so many times in my career where I would go into a high stakes negotiation for tens of millions of dollars worth of business, and I would try to do it myself. So you need to bring other people with you. hopefully people that help you prepare for the negotiation, people that can help you stick to your game plan, that can help you take breaks when you need to take breaks, can observe the other side, and can prevent you from making unnecessary concessions. It's very difficult when you're negotiating, say, at your customer site, and there's 3 or 4 people on their side, and you're all alone. So try not to do that. And like I said before, make sure you're not negotiating on email or text message. Really bad. So those are a few tips that should help you gain more confidence in your negotiation. I wish you the best of luck. And remember, preparing for a negotiation takes time. So don't practice on game day.